Chef Jeremy Langlois, thank you for coming to the studio today.
Man, what an honor for you to have me today. I'm just so humbled you reached out to me, man. I'm happy to chat with you.
Well, I've been seeing your name float around everywhere. I saw you just recently did the Eat the Boot blind dinner.
I did, yeah. That was a lot of fun. You know, I love those guys, Tony, Chuck, and Joey. You know, we had a lot of fun with that one for sure.
Those guys are so much fun. They came and did a podcast at the restaurant, and we just had the whole table lined up with food and beers, and they're really good people. They're doing the exact same thing that I guess we're trying to do, is just highlight, you know, the culinary scene and just have fun doing it.
Well, let me tell you what I like about the Eat the Boot people the most, and I mentioned this at the blind dinner. You know, how I discovered Eat the Boot, scrolling through Facebook one day, and at Houmas House, we have our iconic china, which is a cobalt black rim plate, a gold rim plate. And so I'm just scrolling and boom, it just jumps out at you. It just, as a chef, it's very natural. As soon as I get it, my mind, for whatever reason, goes to the word. Oh my God, what do they say? Like, I brace for impact, right?
Yes.
And then I read what's saying, and it was positive, whatever. But it started happening a couple times. This is about 2 years ago, and it always said Eat the Boot, and that's how I wound up joining up, and that's how that was my entry into it. But now that I am now on seeing them all the time and involved with that community, what I will say about the Eat the Boot community, much like you, is it's positive. Like, where I was initially so nervous about, like, oh God, you know, just what do they say, or this, that, and other. What a positive community, and you need more of that on the internet. So I definitely appreciate that.
I love the fact that they're always so nice. They're always so upbeat. They're super chill. They know their food, you know, and
well, they eat everywhere.
They do eat everywhere.
Like, I feel embarrassed because, like, I would imagine I haven't eaten at 10% of the places they have because man, they get out more than me.
They really do. Like, but what a great gig! Like going out to eat and just talking about how good it is.
Oh yeah.
Like, I want that to be my job.
Isn't it kind of though?
Kind of a little bit. It is. I wish it was more my job.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
you know,
hey man, goals.
I'm going to get there one day, you know, like I'm going to list out the 3 biggest things I want to accomplish in life. I just want to eat out every single day and talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Take pictures maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah. They get crazy with the pictures.
So I'm glad you said Houmas House. Houmas House.
No, you got it.
Is it Houmas or Houmas?
Houmas House. Yeah.
Houmas House.
Yeah. So the Houmas Indians, Native Americans, you know, the town of Houma, that's where it gets its name. And that was the original land was occupied by the Houmas Indians before eventually there was actually one of our restaurants, Latil's Landing, was named after this gentleman in 1773. Alexander Latil's purchased the Houmas claim, which at the time was 250 acres in that area where the Houmas House now stands. So that's where the name comes from.
I've seen pictures. It's so beautiful.
Well, look, let me tell you, JP, I am 100% biased, but I challenge anyone, name a more beautiful area in Louisiana than Houmas House. You know, I feel privileged as a chef. I've been working there since 2004. So I've been there a little over 20 years, and that's my office, those beautiful, majestic grounds. But so I never take for granted where I'm standing because the grounds are really that beautiful. And but yeah, I challenge anybody, find me a more beautiful property. The owner, Kevin Kelly, he has an unbelievable vision. Just the same vision I have when I think about food. He has for the property and the business, and he is as much as I am committed to the food. He has grown that property, the gardens, and everything over the years. Which I just put out the food. I have nothing to do with all that. They have an amazing grounds team and this, that, and the other, and it's a wonderful property. You should come for Christmas. We go all out, and I see people posting photos at the Roosevelt, New Orleans, which is beautiful, no doubt. Roosevelt ain't got nothing on Houmas House. I promise you.
I promise you, I will be there this year. I told my wife yesterday, we are going. And now that I know it's close enough to where I can Uber, because if I'm going to go, I'm going to enjoy myself like all the way.
And JP, we're right off the interstate. You know, it's like once you get off the interstate, it's like a 5-minute drive once you get there. So it's very accessible.
I live right there off of Highland anyway. Highland by the Blue Bayou exit.
Oh man,
anyway.
we're 25 minutes away, man. Let's go.
I know.
What's the holdup? That's what I want to know.
Because I didn't, to be honest, I've heard about Houmas House, but for some reason I thought it was so far away, you know? And then you were just telling me how close it is, and I did not realize that.
Well, you talked about Uber. That's good. I mean, one of our biggest challenges is oftentimes because of we're a destination place.
Yes.
Whether it's we our business, man, we dominate when it comes to special occasions, weddings, graduations, birthdays, anniversaries, things like that, and. But you always have to take into consideration and be careful about, drinking and driving.
Yes.
That's why our wine sales probably aren't as good as it could be because so many people drive,
Well, I'll boost those sales up when I come for sure.
There you go. I'm counting on it.
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
I'm putting that into the budget.
So talking about the events and stuff that you have, is it true that y'all had a wedding for some yellow labs?
Yeah. So I mentioned Kevin Kelly, the owner. He is a dog man through and through. There's nothing he loves more on the planet than his dogs. And God, I think we're all in our third generation now. I joined up with Kevin in 2004, and he acquired the property, I believe, in 2003, and eventually opened it in 2004. That's when I came aboard. And
so together the whole time, basically.
Pretty much. And as part of his, now look. He's a shrewd businessman, and he has these two at the time that they're in dog heaven now. But Sam and Grace, his name is Kevin Kelly, so the dog name is Grace Kelly, and he threw a wedding for his two Dutch Labradors. This is in 2003. I wasn't there at the time, but it was if you know him, everything is over the top. Everything he does is over the top. So this wedding was. I think 1,200 people attended. It was featured on CNN at the time. The Grace Kelly, the bride, wore like a recreation of Princess Diana's wedding dress with a 20-foot diamond-studded train and this, that, and the other. So yes. It was almost like it was part of a marketing thing because they knew it was just so over the top it would make a splash. But it's also an example of kind of what we do there in that we want to be that special, over the top kind of place too. So it just fits perfectly.
That's very memorable. Like I love that. Oh man, I can't wait to go. You said to go during Christmas. So what's the best time right before Christmas? Like the beginning of December, middle of December? When is the best time?
Anytime is good. Anytime is good. I'll tell you, JP, though. Now look, I don't want to turn people away. Come anytime, it's great. But by far, actually, my Christmas time up there, but probably my favorite time on just to be on the grounds is springtime. When the weather is you just want to be outside because the weather's so perfect. And then it's 35 acres. We have the most unbelievable gardens. And during the springtime, that's when everything's in bloom. Colors, everything's lush. So for me, that's my favorite time.
Springtime, huh?
Oh yeah.
Houmas House might be my new destination place.
Oh, we can make that happen.
There's a bunch of different places. There's the Carriage House. You said Latil's.
Yeah, we have three restaurants on the property at different times. And we also have overnight accommodations as well. We have 28 rooms of cottages. So keep that in your back pocket.
Then I don't need to Uber home.
There you go. Yeah, you can stay tonight. So there's multiple different locations. We had just built this large museum that's an addition to the property. Oddly enough, we had our grand opening the week before the COVID shutdowns, but we're up and running now, and it's called the Great River Road Museum, and it's literally a beautiful museum talking about the history of life on the Mississippi River. And attached to that museum is our Dixie restaurant, where we do breakfast and lunch, very casual. It's our very casual option on the property because we cater to a lot of people at any given time. We have all kind of people on our property. We're on the Mississippi Viking Cruise Line docks, and 400 people get off. So we have all these different venues to feed people. So that's our very casual option. It's breakfast and lunch, and we do a buffet there as well. Buffet's key because we're in the tourism game. So we sometimes have to feed. We have to tour people around the house and then feed them in 45 minutes. So we send them to the buffet. Our Carriage House Restaurant, which you were talking about, that's like our main restaurant. It's 7 days a week, open from 11 through lunch and dinner. And we got everything on the menu, to a po' boy hamburger to A9 Wagyu filet mignon and everything in between. And then in the very back part of the main mansion, on just Fridays and Saturdays, we do a prefixed menu that changes 3 times a year. We actually don't even open in the summer. It gets a little slow for us. But very limited seating, 5-course. Well, technically, we throw in some extras, but 5-course menu paired with wines as an option. And we just do those on Fridays and Saturdays. So any given time, all kind of different
There's
things
so much
on.
to do.
Yeah.
I want to do everything there.
Oh man.
I'm going to have to I got to get the buffet. I'm going to have to go Carriage House. I got to go to the bars. Like,
Look,
yeah.
JP, just us talking about it, I'm getting exhausted just thinking of all the stuff that we do there.
You're the one that has to do all the work. So I just get to enjoy it. So to me, I'm super excited. You're thinking about all the things that you need to do. So we were talking about the Eat the Boot blind dinner that you did, and I didn't get to see the food that you made. What did you serve there? Sure.
Well, that was 4 courses. And, here's the thing. Whenever you do one of these things, you want to kind of represent yourself, but you want to kind of try to...
You show off a little bit.
Well, not just that, but kind of you got 4 dishes to kind of try to show what you're all about. So kind of my philosophy, and it's funny, JP, because just a month ago marked my 30th anniversary of cooking professionally. And I feel like I've really only come into what I would call my style a couple years ago. It's been a journey to get there. And what that is, I'm being at a historic property like Houmas House, I'm a Louisiana chef through and through. We can get into this later, but my mentor was Chef John Folse, one of the most renowned Louisiana chefs that's ever lived. And at the time, he was so passionate about history and this, that, and other. And when I was young, I kind of roll my eyes, I guess, at that, and just being stupid and young.
Couldn't appreciate
it. And now I have such a passion for it. And he rubbed off on me in such an immense way that kind of, I would describe my style as a Louisiana chef focusing on Cajun and Creole with a large foundation in honoring our past and the classics and kind of what made us, but also not feeling shackled by that. And some of my favorite things I like to do is just get silly and playful with some of the food too that we can get into. So with all that preamble said, let me tell you what I served.
Oh, dude, you're amping me up right now.
So the first dish we served is what I called a chilled crab meat lasagna. Oh. And it was a cold starter, and it was a play on 2 things. It was jumbo lump, look, simple stuff. Again, classics. Jumbo lump crab meat tossed in a remoulade sauce. But then how I kind of presented it and plated it is like, people often ask me, what's your favorite thing to cook? I don't have a favorite thing to cook. Oftentimes, I like new things. Whenever I have an idea, I can kind of, that's my favorite thing to do. But I do love just rolling out pasta, just fresh homemade pasta. That's very therapeutic for me. I've always just loved it. So we had that jumbo lump crab meat tossed in the remoulade sauce. We rolled out some pasta and cut it into little discs and then cooked that off. So we had the pasta, we had that. So I was working with that, and I kind of got the idea of taking the concept or the idea of a lasagna and kind of playing with that. So I layered the crab meat with the pasta. What else is on a lasagna? Normally you're going to have some ricotta cheese. So I took ricotta and I made this herb ricotta cheese that became like a schmear that was on the bottom of the plate. What else is on lasagna? You got a red sauce that's going to be on it. So instead of that, I made a tomato vinaigrette that was drizzled around the plate that had this nice bright color, and all the flavors worked fantastically with it. And then I think about my favorite part of lasagna, which is you get little bits of burnt Parmesan cheese on the top and on the edge of the pan. So to recreate that, I made this Parmesan tuile, which is just taking Parmesan cheese and toasting it in the oven on a sill plat on a bottom so it don't stick, and then cracking that and just crunching it up and sprinkling it all over the plate to kind of replicate that. So I kind of took that concept of those 2 and just kind of smashed them together.
I don't even know what to say right now. Like, holy cow. I was able to follow you every step of the way, and my mouth is watering. Like, it's
well, good. So that was the first thing we did,
and just the first thing.
Yeah. Oh, no, nothing. And then, and then, if you really knew my background and kind of just for whatever reason, I can't explain why, but like I brought you some soup.
You did.
My specialty is soups and sauces. That is my specialty. It's been something I've been complimented on for all my career. I love making them. For whatever reason, I have a knack for doing soups and sauces. And so I did a soup, and this just happens to be a soup that's only been kind of part of it's not on the menu. It's something I bust out every now and then, and it's a foie gras, mushroom, and truffle cappuccino. And what that is it's a soup served in a coffee cup, because cappuccino.
Yeah.
I make a mushroom soup, not a cream of mushroom soup like out of a can, but just a nice. It's basically like a wild mushroom bisque, a classic French style bisque. And then see, I love foie gras. I love it, but it's a delicacy. As much I could eat it every day if I want. I might only eat it a couple times a year, but I love it. And what I do is I sear a piece of foie gras, cube it up, that goes into the bottom of the cup. We then top it off with that mushroom soup that we made. And then because for a cappuccino, well, what's on top of a cappuccino? You got the frothed milk. So what I do is I take some Feliciana's Best heavy cream, whip it unsweetened. So it's just an unsweetened cream. And then as we pour the soup in, immediately after we come back and we have it in a piping bag, we pipe some of that the whipped cream on the hot soup, and the heat from the soup causes that whipped cream to melt and kind of float on the top, and it literally just mimics that frothed milk that you would find on top of a cappuccino. And then we hit it with a little shaved black truffle on top of that.
You are amazing at describing food. Like, absolutely amazing.
Well, you know what I think that comes from? I was talking about things I have knacks for. Well, just being a chef, like I said, I've been doing it so long, and you always have to type up these specials. You could give me like some food, bro. I could like just make it sound so much better than like whatever it could be. Like I could take Campbell's chicken noodle soup and say, slow simmered chicken in a broth of roasted chicken bones with homemade pasta and a little bit of parsley or something like that, So I think it just comes from that.
Wow. I'm impressed. Way better than ChatGPT, man. Way better.
Oh, well, just keeping it old school, I guess.
So that was the second thing?
That was the second thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Kind of the main entree was next, which was a Wagyu braised short rib. This was actually real simple. I love beef short rib. And so this Eat the Boot dinner was, it was right under 100 people. I think for them, it was the biggest one they had.
That's what
we just kind of took it over. And so one thing, anytime I'm ever thinking about doing these dinners, you got to think of them. If you want to put your best out there, you got to think of it on not only, you could have an idea for a great dish, but can you execute it at the level you want to, for the amount of people you want to, and have it hold up and still be, when it ends up at the table, what you want it to be. So I'm thinking, anytime I'm doing a dinner, all those gears are kind of grinding in my head. And I love beef short rib, and beef short rib just holds up wonderful. You're not cooking something that has to be cooked to a perfect temperature. Not that I'm a pro chef. I could do that too, hopefully, if I needed to. But that just holds up well. So braised short rib, we braise them, slow braise them. We come back, portion them into little portions. And then what I do is I rub a little Creole mustard on top of it. And then I take panko breadcrumbs and just tons of fresh herbs. And I put them in a food processor and grind them up. And it makes this nice bright green crust. I pat that on top of that Creole mustard, and it just kind of sticks. And then we run that through the oven. You get a nice crust with the mustard, and the beef pairs wonderful. And you get this nice little crust on the outside. And then that's on a sweet potato puree. And then we were right at the end of the season of summer, asparagus, these little baby heirloom tomatoes, all that. And then I like a little bit of sweetness. So I reduced, and again, always thinking about the flavors of Louisiana, a beet of root beer, reduce that down to a syrup with just like a beet of root beer ham, with some of the juice that the jus that the beef short rib was braised in, reduce that down to a glass. Boom. I mean, the flavors are just unbelievable. That gets drizzled on the plate, and that's the dish.
Oh my God, it's all there. Jesus, man. Wow. Let me take that in real quick. So you braise these short ribs, and then you crust them, and then you bake them. Yeah.
That's more just to heat them up. Yeah.
But
and get the little crust on the outside.
A little crispy, and oh my God. So you don't make this all the time. This was just something.
Well, we have those ribs are on the menu, but with that crust, with that exact presentation, it was slightly modified, but we have a wonderful beef short. Those ribs are on our menu as well. So we got that as well.
Okay. I don't even want to ask you about dessert.
Dessert was easy. So it was just a bunch of desserts. So I sent out a lot of different things. I always love, if I'm ever doing little things, I always like to honor where I came from. I got my mom's recipe for pralines that I grew up on. So I sent out little pralines. We had this little pistachio butter cake. And then again, I mentioned earlier, I love things to be playful. And I think dessert is one of the best times to do that. And I'm a bit of a pyro, so I love setting things on fire. So we had white chocolate bread pudding that we kind of did with a banana Foster's flambe. But what I do is I make it was all done. All the desserts were done family style. So we just started started hitting them with platters of these small bites of food, and then we ended it by dropping these platters. We dropped down a platter with about 10 slices of bread pudding for one little area, and then it's already got the bananas on it. And I got the Foster sauce. I put it it's in a gravy boat, and I float 151 rum on it, light that on fire, and while it's on fire, I drizzle it on, and it just makes a wonderful
It's
present.
a
So
show.
it's burning while it's on fire, and it's awesome. So
How many
we do
people
that.
had their phones out? Just like, dude, everyone?
JP, that's why we do it. You
I
got to
know,
think about
huh?
that gram. You
It's
know?
marketing, yeah. Wow.
But that's just fun. So always fun. You get a lot of oohs and ahs when you do that. So just a blast to do. I tell people, just be careful. Hopefully you didn't put too much chemicals in your hair and aren't too attached to your eyebrows. Because I go pretty hard with alcohol. I like to get a big flame.
That's so much. Oh my God, that's so cool. How did I not come across any of these videos on Instagram?
I don't know.
I was
People
looking at
out
all the
there
ones that you're
slipping.
tagged in, and I just couldn't find any real pictures of the food from that blind dinner.
Yeah, I think they had just posted something recently where one of the guys, maybe Chuck, I think posted a bunch from, because there was a photographer there taking pictures. But yeah, they're out there, man. Go look.
I'm gonna have to look harder now. So wow. So I don't even know where to go after this. So all of that. So what's your favorite thing that y'all do like on a normal basis that if I went today or tomorrow, what would I get?
See, that's going to be tough for me, man, because it's like, I don't want to put anything on the menu that I want to be proud of. It's just on the menu just to have on the menu. So I'll tell you what just are like just for the Carriage House right now. Well, I'll hit a couple of the restaurants. On the Carriage House, man, the things we sell the most, we have a dish called eggplant Napoleon, which is literally fried medallions of eggplant that we then layer with jumbo lump crab that's been cooked in a saffron cream sauce, and we stack it up like it's like this tall, and that's probably our best seller in the restaurant. Oh man, we got just our redfish dish always does well, and it's just real simple with a little brown lemon butter sauce, some crab, and like this corn rice. But we got great, like I said, the short ribs are awesome. Boudin stuffed pork chop is one of my personal favorites. All those are great. And then we just started our menu for Latil's that we'll be doing all the way till January. And I work with another because there's so many things going on. I collaborate with Chef Ty Lasser, and he really took the lead on this menu. And man, he knocked it out of the park. So we got a champagne truffle soup. We have this foie gras pain perdu, which is like a cold foie gras butter touchant on toasted brioche. Our A9 Wagyu filet. He makes this toffee stuffed beignet. It's an unbelievable menu. So all those things are really great.
So you're talking about all these like simple ingredients, but do most of these ingredients come from the garden?
Many of them do. A lot of from the garden and the greenhouses where we get a lot of our herbs and things like that. I've been really blessed as a chef to be able to have access to. I mean, how many chefs can say, "Oh, well, I just go," like during the summer.
I just get it from a garden.
Yeah, we don't order basil. We probably grow enough basil to supply all of Baton Rouge. In fact, whenever it starts flowering, like right now, it's about to start flowering. We wind up ripping it all up, throwing it in a food processor with just olive oil and pureeing it, and then we put it in tubs, and we'll use that just as like you could put a scoop of it in something that just to preserve it. Yeah, a lot. It's sometimes hard. It's like we'll grow, for example, March. You'll plant your tomatoes. Well, come May, you're overflowing with tomatoes. For about a month there, man, we got tomatoes.
Everything's
tomato.
tomato.
Yeah. We got tomatoes out the wazoo. Everything's tomatoes. But then like there's certain things like we've grown some eggplant and this, that, and other, but we don't grow enough to be able to feature it wholly on the menu without. We would be lying. We're like we have to order. But things like herbs and stuff like that, I'm blessed. I almost never have to order them. We just grow.
That's amazing.
And like I said, as a chef, not many can say that.
No, they really can't. Like, I know the herbs that I grow at my house and I run out, like, and
like rosemary, you could put a rosemary bush. You'd be surprised. It grows all year. And like I said, summer, basil grows amazingly. So yeah.
Basil and mint, I can do. Rosemary, I've never been able to grow rosemary.
That happens for whatever. And look, I'm not a gardener, I'm a chef, but rosemary I find will either take over or it just becomes this dry thing. And
I feel like I get a lot of fungus or something on it. It just dies. I can't keep it alive. I've tried inside, outside. I've gotten the big trees, the big bushes, and I just can't keep it alive for some reason. I know. I've been trying to figure it out. One of my wife's aunts, her thing is just don't care about it and it grows. I tried that too.
She might be onto something, but that didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work. So, but I love rosemary. Like, I just can't get enough of it for some reason. You know?
I love rosemary too, but rosemary can be tricky in cooking only it's very fibrous. So you really have to, for most applications, you really want to chop it up. And believe it or not, that's one thing, JP, I don't think you realize this. You say little words and it just triggers me and I go off on tangents.
No, go with it.
Rosemary, chop it up. But there's certain herbs you can over chop, like for example, basil. I don't think a lot of people know this, but
it gets mushy.
Yeah, not just that. If you're chopping basil on a cutting board, and then when you're done, that cutting board is green. Well, that you could lick that cutting board. It tastes like basil. Well, you just released all the flavors are captured in the oil of those cells, and you've just by over chopping it, you bruise the basil and cause a lot of those oils to seep out. And you've basically ruined the basil. Whereas like a lot of herbs, even in cooking, you want to cook a lot of those really green ones very little, because the more you cook them, the more you break down those cell walls in the oil and you lose flavor. So if you just like you could overcook a steak, you could over chop basil and it loses its effect.
Okay. I just learned that about muddling.
Same
a couple
concept.
of weeks ago.
Same concept. Yeah, absolutely.
Like if
concept.
you over muddle, then you just destroy
and it's almost
it.
counterintuitive because you think, oh yeah, I'm getting it in there.
Right?
I'm really pushing the
You're
flavor out.
You're supposed to. Yeah,
but
see other
when
people
you pull
do
that
it.
little stick up, you could, like I said, you could lick that stick. You're muddling mint, and it's going to have all the mint flavor is going to be on it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. So now that I know, you just have to just hit it just a little bit just to release everything.
Yeah, the freshness is in how vibrant it is. Yeah, for sure.
Because I used to be a beat it up kind of guy. I was just going after it, but I learned a lot. So Lane Primo just redid our bar menu, and he came and did a bartending 101. And I thought I knew how to bartend. I owned a college bar for about 8 years in Tigerland, and I thought I got fancy at some point, in my life. And I was like, the things that he was showing me, I was like, dude, this is incredible.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the beautiful thing about it, man. There's always something to learn. Look, let me tell you something. I'll go to restaurants and I walk out of the restaurant hanging my head because I'm like, I got to step it up. Like these people are.
It's inspiring.
100%. Yeah, and it keeps you honest. It's always, progress over perfection. Always. I've never kind of saw it as.
You can't.
I've always just wanted to keep improving. Just keep improving and not rest on your laurels. And every now and then you go to a place that's really doing it good, and man, it'll humble you.
I love that. I just love when people do just do themselves. It's just, I don't know, because everyone's brain's different, right? So how, just talking about your brain just now, how do you put those flavors together? And you were talking about crab meat and lasagna, and then you were trying to take the red part and you did this with, I was like, what? I was like, I wish I could think like that. I think my brain's pretty good, but when you see other people putting things together and you see their ideas kind of blossom, it's very cool. I love it. And I just love food. Anything that tastes good, and
I'm the same way. I tell people I like everything from corn dogs to foie gras and caviar and everything in between.
I can get fancy or I can go straight carnival with it. I can do the whole thing. If it tastes good, I'm not gonna.
And even people are like, oh, but when you say a corn dog, no, I'm talking about a corn dog.
An actual corn dog, yeah.
I would be well, we can get into it should you want to, but the stuff that excites me that I do at home is miles from what I would do at a restaurant or the things that I like that I just love eating at home. I mean, like, it's ghetto.
Dude, what's your go-to? What's your go-to at home?
Okay.
It's 10 p.m. You're starving. What are you making?
Get ready. I probably cook scrambled eggs multiple nights a week.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Scrambled eggs, right? But I do get a little precise. Like I whip air into it, this, that, and other, and not too stiff. I pull it off the heat. My favorite, boom, get you a link of boudin, still hot, scramble eggs. Right when the eggs are starting to tighten up, crush that boudin up, sprinkle the boudin into the eggs. And then pull it off, put that on, and then dice up a half an avocado, throw it on top of that. That might be one of my favorite meals on the planet.
Okay.
Scrambled eggs, boudin, avocado. Might sound weird. Try it. But when I'm talking ghetto stuff, I like, like certain companies, they'll have products. For example, I love, during the summer, you can get the spicy mustard Doritos.
Yep.
They're fire. That's my favorite chip. So I get those if I see it, and you don't see them much. So if I see them, I buy a bunch. Well, Ritz crackers, like the Keebler Elf fudge things, they have a Ritz cracker with the fudge on it.
They have a Ritz cracker with the fudge on it.
For Christmas. So I found it last year. I'm so looking forward to this Christmas, because let me tell you, that might be my favorite thing on the planet to eat. Is the Ritz, they unlocked the magic code. The fudge Ritz cracker. That's my favorite thing. They
made a fudge.
That's my
Ritz
favorite
cracker.
thing. The Boot people. What best thing you ate? That was the best thing I ate last year. Last year was the Ritz chocolate fudge Ritz cracker.
Oh, I have some Ritz crackers at home.
No. You can't do it with some good chocolate or anything like that. It has to be the store bought. That's
processed chocolate.
Or I talk about scrambled eggs. My go-to is scrambled eggs, and then just crush a little pack of potato chips right at the end, throw that on top.
Oh,
that's
wow.
probably my dinner 2 or 3 nights a week. I'm telling you, it gets weird.
It's so simple. Because by the time I get hungry,
and this
I
is
just
when I'm
want
by myself.
quick.
I have my wife. I have 2 daughters. I really do. I try to cook every Sunday for them. But their lives. It's funny because I miss so much of their lives just being in the busy restaurant. I'm sure you know. And I've kind of worked myself to a part where I'm a little bit more flexible during different times of the year. I can be home many evenings, but now their lives are, my girls are 14 and 11, and their lives are so busy. They're into dance and this, that, and other. And they have extracurricular things literally Monday through Thursday, which now I'm home some of those days. So I'm just home by myself, scrambling eggs and cracking my potato chips. And that's the life of a chef for me.
Dude, I'm going to try that when I get home. I eat scrambled eggs a lot. Well, I eat eggs a lot. I eat it for the choline, really. I feel like it makes my brain smarter.
I don't know if it's working for me, but
no, I don't know.
I'm eating them.
I eat them. Someone told me that one day, so I'm going to go with it, right? Complete protein or whatever it is. I don't even know what it is.
Gotcha.
I just know that it's delicious, and I can put anything in it, and it's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really into just regular breakfast burritos right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just some salsa, some cheese.
Yeah.
I
like when it's got the potatoes in it too.
Oh yeah. But I'm gonna crush up some chips when I get home and put those in there for sure. We went to some party last weekend, and my wife brought a charcuterie board, so she brought fancy cheeses. I don't even know the name of this cheese, but there's truffles or something in there.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I've been putting that in my burritos lately.
Yeah, that's good.
I have no idea what kind of cheese it is. I know it's delicious though. Yeah. So you were talking about being a chef for 30 years. Where did you get your start?
Yeah, sure. Well, here, let's go back.
Yeah, let's go all the way back.
So I started, we're going back to 1995.
Okay.
And I just turned 16. My older brother, I have 2 brothers. I'm a middle child, so I'm sure there's some issues there. And my older brother was a banquet server at White Oak Estate and Gardens, owned by Chef John Folse, which is in Baton Rouge, which is his catering division. Does events, does weddings and things like that. And he was a banquet server there. I was 16. I drove a 1987 Toyota Corolla, and my parents I come from a very humble background. My father was a pipe fitter from at Exxon, and that's where I got a lot of my work ethic for, because they're both really hardworking people. And they, as part of kind of, because I had a job cutting grass like before I was 16, and I was lazy and I hated it. And they were like, look, you got your 1987 Corolla, but you have to pay for your gas and you have to pay for half the insurance. And that was the deal. And so I had to get a job. So he got me a job at the time that I wanted to be a banquet server, but the only thing they had available was a dishwashing job at White Oak at the time. And I thought that sounded horrible, but sign me up. So I started washing dishes, and actually wasn't as bad as maybe thought. But what happened there is, I tell you this, JP, I don't want to get too religious or anything, but I am a man of faith. And I really think God was looking out for me, because I mean, no disrespect when I say this, but my brother could have been working at Denny's or any restaurant, name it, whatever you can think of. But he was a banquet server at White Oak, owned by Chef John Folse, one of the most renowned chefs in Louisiana. So I'd never cooked, at this point, literally have never cooked anything in my life. Not even anything as great as scrambled eggs with potato chips. I think I had cooked Pop-Tarts and microwavable Sam French fries.
Corn Pops, maybe.
That was man, now you're talking fancy. So I never cooked anything, but as I'm washing the dishes, I'm looking in the kitchen, and I was just enamored, just amazed by what was going on there. I love to eat. I did like food that had, again, I'm from Central. To me, fine dining was my dad would buy ribeyes, marinate them in Italian dressing, and grill them well done. That was like the top of my culinary knowledge at the time. But I'm watching these chefs work in the kitchen, and there were so many things that just attracted me to it. Was all the action going on, the smells, getting to munch on some of the food that they were making. It was delicious, and that was wow. I remember the first time trying a mid-rare or a medium steak there, because that's how they would cook it. And I was like, I ain't eating that bloody. And they said, shut up, just try it. I'm like, oh wow, this does taste better. And so I'm in that environment. And my brother always rode me hard. And sometimes I'd knock out my dishes, and I'd be leaning up against the dishwasher. He goes, oh, no. He said, when you finish those dishes, you go talk to your chef. At the time, her name was Carol Gunter. And he said, you go see Carol and say, hey, I have nothing to do. Is there anything I can do to help? And I said, oh, well, my bad, didn't know. So I went up to Chef Carol and said, hey, I'm free. And they would take me to the side, and we would start to do things. Now, at the time, it was, we used to do these big vegetable and platters and displays. So they'd show me to do all the stuff they didn't want to do. Eventually I'd learn how to cut cantaloupe and pineapple and things like that. I'm talking about 4 cases at a time. And I just loved it. And that's what started me on my journey. So much so that high school, I was super introverted. I didn't have a quote unquote high school experience. I never went to a high school football game, this, that, and the other. Was real shy. Never went to a dance or anything like that. But White Oak was my social place. I had friends there, and I really enjoyed what I was doing there. And so what I would do is, oftentimes I wouldn't be scheduled to 4:00. Well, I'd get out of school at 2:00. I'd go straight to White Oak. You couldn't even clock in. I'd be clocking in 2 hours before I was scheduled. But I'd always show up, and there'd be a mound of dishes. So I'd get there early, and just off the clock, I would just knock them dishes out. So I'd go play to me, it was going to play in the kitchen. So just slowly over time, I'd start to pick up, they'd teach me different things. So many of the chefs there, Paul Bailey, I think of all these old school guys, they would teach me things. And I just kept building. This is why I'm a sophomore in high school. Well, I just stayed on that track. Within only being there for 5 months, I went to Chef Carol. I said, please, I would do anything to get out of the dish pit and just come there. She said, no problem. Just you got to get a replacement. Well, that's what I suckered my best friend Brian, who just turned 16, who would later go on to be the general manager of that property. Okay. But so we both got started from very humble beginnings. But I suckered Brian into taking my spot, and then I was able to move in the kitchen full time. Well, by the time this happened. I'm a sophomore in high school. Yeah. Fast forward to finishing up high school senior year, I was I was learn some things. They'd let me run little events.
2
We
years
had
of
little
kitchen experience
offsites.
by then.
I would do it, and then also I would go start helping out Chef John Folse doing these little demos that he was doing around, and be kind of his little assistant to help him
Really?
set up his demos. And that's when I kind of caught his eye. And by the time I graduated high school, he said, "Look," he pulled me to the side one day and said, "Look." He had just started the Nicholls State the Chef John Folse Culinary Institute at Nicholls State. That program had just started like 1 year prior. This is 1998, and he said, "Look, I want to give you a full scholarship to Nicholls." So he wound up giving me a full scholarship to Nicholls. And then at the time, he had a restaurant called Lafitte's Landing, which, if you know your Louisiana restaurant history, this was the one at the foot of the Sunshine Bridge in Donaldsonville, which would eventually later that year burn down in a fire, and he would reopen one later called Bittersweet. But he brought me over to Lafitte's. He said, "Look, you got White Oak figured out, but I want you to learn the restaurant side of things, how to do orders off the line and this, that, and the other, and keep training you." And so he brought me over to Lafitte's, and oh man, that was just the next hit.
A whole new world.
Yeah, like that's when I really fell in love with just the action going on in the kitchen. And understand this, JP, still to this day, I'm still very much an in the trenches kind of kitchen guy. Like I love everything about the kitchen, and that foundation was built right there during those days at Lafitte's. So again, so blessed that of all the places I could have ended up, I ended up under Chef John Folse. I got to travel the world with him, doing different things. I traveled all over at a very young age, and then I was a sous chef at age 21. When I was 22, our executive chef had left at the time, and that's when John. This is at Bittersweet, Lafitte's Bittersweet in Donaldsonville, and John promoted me to executive chef at age 22 in 2001. And
that's amazing.
And at the time, that restaurant was in an organization called Dorona, Distinguished Restaurants of North America. It's Canada, United States, and Mexico, and they invite certain restaurants. There's like 750 restaurants in Dorona. At that time, in 2001, I was the youngest executive chef of any Dorona restaurant. I think because they did some little research. There was someone else who was like 28, and he was like the next youngest. So I owe so much to that foundation I had with John. And then I'd moved to Houmas House in 04 and started working with them. And me and John hadn't talked back for a while. And then we wound up rekindling our relationship a little bit later, just being around. And let me tell you, I talk to that man all the time now. He's like, I have a great father, but he's like my culinary father. Like he's like a father to me. And I can't tell you how much I owe that man. Like he taught me so much. So that's kind of how I got my start.
That's awesome. You got to work with John Folse. I started cooking by using his cookbooks.
Which ones?
I can't remember. My mom used to have them, so she have
the yellow one. There's
definitely a hardback one.
Okay.
I can't remember. He was on the cover for sure.
Yeah.
I don't
was
know.
one of the big, massive ones, like the ones he does.
It was
now?
probably about this big.
Oh no,
right?
no! Now he does ones that are like boom, they're big. But yeah, okay.
So I would do his recipes. And then I remember when I started buying like his soups and pre-made things in the supermarket, just because I knew the name, and they were always delicious.
Well, it's funny. I told him this, when I was young, I loved my Saturday morning cartoons, but oddly enough, I would watch the Saturday, I don't know, I guess I'm in 4th, 5th grade at the time, watch your cartoons. And then at 11 on PBS, you'd start having cooking shows. And there was like Frugal Gourmet, but there'd be Julia Child. Watch Julia Child. There was Charlie Trotter, who would wind up having a big impact on me indirectly. I never met the man, but that's my favorite cookbook of all time is the Charlie Trotter cookbook. And he had a show called Kitchen Sessions. And then after that one, the John Folse show would come on. And that's when I turned the TV off because I was like, oh, he doesn't talk about history. And I said, this show's boring. And there's not enough cooking in it. And I would turn that one off. When that's when I'd stop watching TV for the morning on Saturdays.
I remember a lot of PBS, like LPB. Martin Yan came on a lot.
Oh, like Yan Can't Cook. Yeah, that was awesome too.
Watching that dude debone a chicken in like 10 seconds.
He was
You're like, what?
What he could do with a cleaver, man, was impressive.
That's why I own a cleaver and I'm not that good.
Yeah, I own a cleaver too, probably because of Martin Yan.
Yeah.
But I don't, that's not my go-to. Yeah.
No, I tried because he used it for everything. It was like the most versatile tool. And I don't even use it. But I remember, dude, all of those cooking shows were so awesome back in the day because I I'm probably about that. I'm 45 now.
So, I'm 46. Yeah, we're basically the same age. Yeah.
So I remember when there weren't that many channels, you know.
I was in high school. We were in high school when the Food Network came out, and the old Food Network. I'm talking about
that was awesome. That's where I really learned.
Before the competitions.
I don't like the competitions
and all
stuff.
and look, no disrespect, the diners and drive, all the little kind of document. Like I'm just talking about kitchen studio.
Tutorial
that's my type of cooking show. You know, those are the ones I like. You know, I was on top, but I mean, like, it's all cool. But like, but those were the things that were my most favorite. So
I learned so much. You know, I love to learn and just to watch how other people did it. And I like when they explain how to do it, like when Alton Brown does it. You know?
Even like I didn't like when Emerald went to Emerald Live because I felt he was playing so much up to that crowd.
Yeah.
And he's like, bam, we're going to throw this in it, bam, bam, bam. And it was just like, whoa, bring it down a little bit, man. Like he would make stuff so fast and just be yelling and pumping up the crowd. Oh, I'm going to put garlic in it or whatever. Like, the crowd would go
you want some more?
yeah. It was a little. Justin Wilson back in the day. Now that we're talking about it. I loved all that stuff.
What was his bow tie or whatever it was that he had?
His Cajun accent. I loved all that stuff.
That was awesome.
Cooking shows.
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up because it's such a good time.
And this was, but I would watch those, as I told you, this was during a time I didn't cook, but I
didn't cook either. I just watched it.
Something was faded because I loved those shows. That wasn't eating what they were having because my parents weren't cooking stuff like that per se, and I wasn't cooking, but just loved it. And then I'll tell you one little funny story about once when I get into something, it's like becomes like my laser focus. It drives my wife crazy because he's like, I get into something like I'll just go crazy for like I get into whatever, and for 6 months that I live and breathe it, and then like it's something completely different the next 6 months. But cooking's always stayed with me, and whenever I want, like when I tell you, I had to be a nut in high school because once I started getting into cooking, like when I tell you I went head in, whenever I was 17, I could tell you all the classic French mother sauces and 5 derivatives from each one. I'd bought there was no YouTube or this, that, and other. I remember saving up money to buy the CIA, the Culinary Institute textbook, which had these wonderful color photos. I would read it every day. Like I still have that cookbooks in my office. Like it was like $70. It was a big deal to buy for me at that time. And then when you see people sauteing and they're shaking the pan and everything's flipping in the pan, this is how hardcore I was. I would go and grab my mom's skillet in the kitchen. I'd go in my room and I'd empty a pack of Skittles into it and I would practice.
Oh, wow.
I would practice flipping, like shaking it and having it flip real cool. I would just go and practice. Like I was in it to win it.
I never had any formal training, but I did a lot of cooking from those shows. And I didn't do grocery shopping on my own. So I would just put things together that my mom and dad had already bought, leftovers or whatever it was. And that's where I kind of figured out that I love cooking, and then now obviously with restaurants and stuff, I still enjoy it. I told my partner the other day, I was like, I love what I do still.
It's funny because I'm at Houmas House. Sometimes as a chef, there's so many, you've probably seen, there's so many different patterns. You see, like I see certain little patterns kind of repeat themselves. I know certain chefs, I've seen all kind of different things.
Trends.
And I kind of worked to myself. At first I thought it was going to be the awesomest thing. I worked where I had such a staff. I was like, I can just sit down and focus, like I have all this office time now and this, that, and the other. And every now and then somebody don't show up or this, that, and the other. And I'll go work the pantry in the Carriage House. And once I'm locked in and I start setting, I'm like, y'all back up. I'm setting up my station, guys. Because I don't work a station no more. Yeah. I'm setting up my station. Man, once I'm locked in, I'm having the time of my life. Like part of me just misses where there was a time where this is there was a time where all I worried about was my station. Did I have everything prepped? Did I have everything going? Everybody step back. This is my station. And just sometimes for me, just to go in and work a station is such a joy. I just love it.
I thought I was weird because I don't get to do that very often anymore. Like I have a staff that does that.
Yeah, same, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, same for me.
But when I get to wash dishes now, I don't know what it is. I love washing dishes.
Yeah. Just recently, well, not recently, a couple of years ago, Christmas Eve is our busiest day of the year. And a couple of years ago, I had one of my dishwashers didn't show. And I was so happy, that both, because the two restaurants were going at the same time, Latil's and Carriage House. Everything was clicking and the dishes were piling up. I said, you know what?
I'll knock them out real quick.
I'm
gonna do a few loads.
It's like, look, all I got to do is wash the dish. I'm washing dishes. I'm listening to metal music. Man, I'm like, this is the best job ever. I said, if I can get paid when I get paid here and just be a dishwasher, bruh, I'm in. I'll do it till I'm 80.
I love it because I want to see how fast I can go and like how clean I can get things. I started washing dishes in the restaurant career like when I was 17, I believe, and I take pride in everything that I do, and that's your station. Like,
well, I'm even picking up on things you say. I used to think like, what's the most efficient way? I was like, if I do this and this, I could have this set in the dish machine, and that could be working on this while that cycle's running. I
was like, how many things can I stack?
The dish machine.
Like even now at home, like I hope my wife doesn't see this part, but when she loads the dishwasher, I'm like, bro, you could be way more efficient than that. Like I was like, oh
well, no, my wife tells me that, but because I kind of throw it in there and then just fill it up to the top, and she's like, well, this one's gonna miss a little. I'm like, well, I'll just hand wash that one when it comes out, whatever.
I can get it. I'm so good at it, man. I can stuff that dishwasher so full. I guess one of my things is if it goes in clean, it comes out clean. So if there's like a bunch of stuff on there, it's probably going to come out with a bunch of stuff on it, right? But if I can get everything off before it goes in there, I think of it more as a sanitation box, So, but I just love I don't know why it excites me so much to wash dishes. Because it's easy, it's mindless, and I don't have to worry about anything else, I guess.
Yeah, when you're in it,
when you're doing your day-to-day, you probably have to worry about so many things, probably a million things at one time. So when you get to slow down a little bit, I'm sure it's a break, but you're still moving.
So much of it is time management for me, like there's every day things need at this, throughout the entire day, this needs to happen. This needs, all kind of different things have to click. 10 minutes before service, this has to happen. And I got to, even boring stuff I have to do now is excited to have like printing special menus and this, that, and other, So it's good to take a step back from all that sometimes.
It's just fun. Yeah. So we were talking earlier about how the staff that you have, they've been with you for so long.
Yeah, you had mentioned this.
I'm very interested in that because I told you my one of my big focuses right now is how can I make my staff happier, but get more out of them and make them want to be there for longer.
Well, first of all, sometimes you have to weed out a lot of people to get to the key people. So that's the main
Top
thing.
grading,
And you can't mess around. I'll tell this story, and it's not fun. I hired a gentleman just the other day. It was actually a record for me. They came in at 9. By 9 o'clock, I just pulled them to the side and said, man, I'm sorry, this isn't going to be a good fit. Like I could just tell right then and there. And that's not fun. But I am blessed that I don't have to do that often. It's very rare. I do have to hire because I have such great key people. And at the end of the day, I think it comes down to finding people who understand what you're trying to do. And they're just people of good character. You don't have to be exact on anything. In fact, I don't think, nothing like that. But people who have the right values as far as just, to me, it's the simple things. You find the people that show up to work on time. If you can find someone to show up to work on time and cares about what they're doing, everything else is teachable.
It falls in place, yeah.
Everything else is teachable, and that is a great person, and you need to make a note of it, and you need to start developing them. And then as you develop them, you got to let them know that they're a part of this, and you have to help them grow, because that's what happened to me. I only know that because I only want to repeat what seemed to. What kind of worked for me is what I try to see. I started off as a dishwasher, and I never had no big leap from dishwasher. I went into the kitchen chopping up wedding vegetables, and to eventually being the person that was allowed to make the jambalaya and do the hot food for the wedding, to eventually running parties, to eventually on a grill fry station, to eventually running that station, to eventually running that kitchen, to eventually running multiple kitchens. And so it was steps along the way. So you just have to bring these people along the way. Always try to get them involved. And then you want them to get on. You want them to get on board with you and share your vision And then you want them to be able to contribute as well and make them feel that they have ownership in it as well, and that they're a part of it. So I think of Taylor Francis, who is my pastry chef. This is a woman, oh God, she would hate to know I'm talking about her if she watched this, but she came from very challenging means growing up. Started working with us when I was 25. She was 16, and she started off as a food runner. And this is someone who was a high school dropout. Again, no fault of her own, came from very challenging conditions. And you just notice things like she did the job, but I noticed that she was running food for lunch and she had some job before where she had learned to use a deep fryer, and I saw her cook stuff. Well, from a time to time, she was so motivated. If she saw what she's in the weeds, she's like, I can jump back there and fry that up real quick if you can. And we wind up starting to rely on her. It went, and again, just going through the different levels, it eventually got to the point where we brought her into the kitchen, and then we found out she had a passion for doing the desserts, and we kept developing her. And she is one of my greatest success stories of, no matter, I could die tomorrow. And one of the things I'm most proud about is the career that Taylor Francis has gone on to have, because she is the hardest working person, but I give her ram. We'll just have discussions about desserts. Oh, what about this? Oh, what if we did we used to do this apple galette? What if we did the apple galette but did this? And then I'm bouncing ideas, just engaging them, bouncing ideas off of them, and let them feel that they have ownership, and then really working with them. And I have so many people like that. I mentioned Ty Lacer, who is my Latil chef. This is a young up and coming chef with unbelievable talent. He's 25 years old now, but whenever he came, we crossed paths. He started working for us when he was 17, and then went on to go to the John Folse Culinary School, and he kind of reminded me, people call him mini me. Like he just had a lot of the kind of qualities, and he was just a hard worker. And then, so you just try to foster that. And I try to do that with as many of my staff as possible, to let them know that we have it. And then Houmas House is such a big property as well. Like, I need it. I literally, there was a time in my 20s where I felt like I had to put the weight of all the stress on my back. And I don't think I really have any unusual innate talent or anything, but I would work hard. Like, I remember there was days, Mother's Day, we used to get slammed, but Mother's Day is always in April, which is wedding season. So we'd always have a wedding before Mother's Day. It's a hell of a week. And I remember letting my staff go at 11 o'clock. I would just work through the night, start prepping. They'd show up at 7 the next morning, and then come 3 o'clock. I'm like, y'all got it from here. Guys, that's things. The lunch buffet, the big holiday lunch buffet we do was wrapping up. But I mean, that's 36 hours straight. I would work. I don't do that no more. I don't even think to do that no more. I'm the cliche work smarter, not harder kind of person. And I do, and that's because I've slowly been able to build such a great team, because that property is so big. It's open 3 different restaurants, open 7 days a week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It's impossible for me
It's impossible for me to do it by myself. So I got to empower my other teammates to hopefully take the same pride and have the same passion I have, and just empower them and just try to develop it the best I can.
I try to hire for attitude, because you can teach the skills. But I think one of my biggest faults is not knowing when to call it. Like, I can call it and I can talk myself out of it somehow, because I really believe that when you tell me something, I believe you, right? I'm not going to second guess you. I'm not going to think that you're lying to me. Sometimes, actually a lot of times it happens, and you letting that person go, I feel so bad if I don't give people like a fair shake, but sometimes you just know these things. It's there's a phrase I heard recently. It's like, takes no talent, right? TNT, show up to work on time, positive attitude, smile, help other people, it's those things that you're looking for that you don't need a resume for that.
Now, when you say hire on talent, I mean attitude, yes.
Core values.
True. But like, and when you say attitude, I work with all kind of different personalities, and I actually see benefits of certain personalities. Like, I've had some people that, and look, I was cocky during certain little times. The first time I was in a newspaper, look how cool I am, I made it. But but look, I've been humbled way more since then. So that's come down big time. But I don't mind someone being a little cocky or this, that, and the other, because then I'm going to test them.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, it's like I hear that dog barking. Let's see if he's got a bite. Like I want to see. Whereas I have this one person, and he's annoying everybody else with how cocky it is, and I'm like, whoa. I said, yeah, that's annoying for sure. But let me tell you something. He's being cocky because he thinks he can do it. Let's see if he can do it, and we'll judge. And then I'll take that energy and try to push him.
It?
Yeah. Try to push him into ultimately getting the outcome that
Something
you want.
constructive.
And if that gets me there, be cocky, man.
I like that. I like putting a team together, multiple personalities. It sounds weird, multiple personalities, but if you have a team of the exact same people, it's so boring, and then you can't think of new ideas because everyone's trying to think the same.
That's true, but I've just found it just doesn't happen like that. You're naturally going to have those different things, and then you hope you don't have interpersonal conflicts. And look, we talking about JP. We know there's a lot of drama going on sometimes behind the scenes, and then it's funny. In my younger days, I would try to, I said, guys, y'all figure that out. I said, we're a business. I don't have time to play games. I said, look, either y'all gonna work together or not.
Yeah.
So let's y'all figure it out. I don't even need them. I don't have time to mess with that anymore. So
I'm a problem solver. I'm a fixer. Probably about 10 years ago, I felt like I could do anything, right? If you gave me enough time, I could probably talk you off that ledge. I could put y'all back together. Like I could solve whatever problems you're having now. And then you just start to realize that I don't have the time for that anymore. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old right now, and I don't want to do that for anybody else right now. 8 years ago I would have, because I had the time, and honestly, I kind of want to see if I can do it, right? But you can only get them so far for so long before if you take yourself out of the equation, they just go back to what they were before. So we're talking about so much drama in the restaurant business. My new saying is talk to people, not about people. So if you come to me and you have a problem with somebody else, my first question is, did you talk to them directly? If you hadn't talked to them directly, we're not going to have a conversation.
I like it.
And if you talk to them and you still can't figure it out, we'll all sit down together, right? But we're not going to have a conversation about someone else without them being here, because I found that if I thought I was being a sounding board before, right? Just letting them talk. But if you let them talk, they think that you're siding with them, and then they go tell everybody else that JP agrees with me. And you're like, I did not say I agreed with you. All right, we were just talking things through, So now I realize that that's just way too much work, way too much trouble, and I just let them figure it out. And sometimes they just don't figure it out. Yeah. And sometimes you have to make that hard decision and be like, do you want to still be here? Right. I have a new way of terminating people now. I've always been very fair, and I've always been very, I guess, treat everyone like a human being, right? I never made you feel bad. I would never do it in front of anybody else, but I would be very factual, right? Like, these are all the things that you did. These are the things that, we talked about, blah, 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 right? And then I would say something like, we're just not a good fit together. Yep. But for some reason that stopped working like 5 or 6 years ago. So now what I find that I have to do, it takes a lot longer to do this now, but I ask you, we talk about all the things still, and then I ask you the question, do you still want to be here? And then you have to convince me that you still want to be here. I heard a saying a little bit ago was, most people lack the courage to quit, Yeah. They'll just start acting out, their progress or their performance will start to decline. And it's almost like they're looking for you to fire them so they can be mad at somebody. And I don't want to be that person. I want us to work well together, And that's why there's just so much going on. Also, I have a lot of college age students or college age people that work for me.
Yeah, you gotta, I try to work with people the best I can to any of their life's going on, this, that, and other. But at the end of the day, too, you got a business.
It's a business,
man.
Yes.
You got a business to run, and I take it seriously. I take a lot of pride, and and not I don't say this vainly or anything, but if someone is talking bad about the food at Houmas House, well, that's my name out there. That is putting this stuff out, and and that's a double-edged sword because it's a source of a lot of pride for me. But then, but it has to be earned, you know.
But you're also, you take the responsibility because everyone that works underneath you, that's almost like your responsibility to them. Like, I want you to be proud to work here.
Oh yeah. 100%.
So if you're not proud to work here, I feel like I'm not doing my job. You know, my whole job is to make sure you're proud to work here. So it doesn't matter if I made that burger, if I fried those French fries or not. If someone doesn't like it, I lose sleep over it. You know, like I haven't had to, you know, solely be on the line for a very long time now, but every negative review, I feel like I made that food for you.
It's the hardest dang thing. Like just because I physically can't touch every plate anymore, you know? And so, you know, and that was a hard transition for me. That happened to me around, you know, from my kind of in my 30s where I did have to start. I used to be the person on the, you know, working saute, doing everything, doing all the orders,
bailing people out, saving the day,
opening up, turning off the lights at the end of the night, locking everything. I almost didn't feel that I could do it. And I wish I could remember who told me this, but someone said, Jeremy, some people gave you opportunities on the way to prove yourself, and you stepped up and you stepped up, and then now you're here where you are today. You have to give other people those opportunities too, and keep the ones that you rely on, you know? And that kind of comes back to our conversation earlier about employees, is giving people those opportunities to hopefully be the next you, or have as much passion about the place as you have. And where why you don't want them to be the person to work 36 hours straight, this, that, and other, but you want that person too. So you want a person that would want to do that. So you got to be able to give people opportunities as well to do to let go and show, to prove that things can still carry on without a hitch, without you having to physically do everything.
We were just talking about the person that got me here isn't the person that's going to get me there. And I think about that a lot because it used to be very hands-on for me, because if I could put my hands on it, I knew for a fact I could make it work. Now the hardest part is, how can I empower other people to get the same results that I was getting? And when you said the opportunity part, it kind of really hit me, because sometimes you take that away from people too soon. You know, like they have to be able to make mistakes. You know, they have to be able to fumble. You know, but they also have to be able to pull themselves out of this hole. And wow. Yeah.
You almost have to let people struggle a little bit sometimes. You're like, you're the parachute. So you're not going to let them smash into the ground. So you're the parachute, but you got to let them feel uncomfortable falling for a little bit and see if they're able to get it together and do what needs to be done. And you're not going to let things fail. But like you do, sometimes I would walk into one of the restaurants. I can see they're in the weeds, and the tickets are and I can see there's everybody's stressing. Yeah, I could probably jump in there and help them knock out a couple tickets real quick and ease a little pressure off of it. But also, what
would they learn?
Yeah. Also, I've been in the weeds before. No one jumped in to help me out, you know? So I'll sit there and just kind of watch them, and maybe I might not say anything, or I might offer a couple words of guidance or encouragement. But also I'm not, of course I'm looking at everything. I'm not going to make sure nothing, again, I'm not going to let them just fall flat on their face, but I want them to be able to kind of struggle a little bit, because look, JP, you and me know, I mean, anything you're passionate about is going to be difficult. I literally think passion is like the Latin word for sacrifice. So there's going to be pain, you know?
All the best things in life don't come easy.
Yeah, for sure.
At all. But when you finally get over that, there's no better feeling. You know, I love that a lot. Now I'm trying to teach my team the same lessons that we're talking about right now, because having the right managers, having the right people to, you know, run the stores for you, to develop the team underneath them, that's what I've been working on now. And it's funny. I mean, I found a way to get back in the kitchen. Like I started retraining kitchen managers in the last few weeks. And for some reason, it's fun for me. You know what I mean? Like it's so much fun. But then you figure out that there's so many things that weren't taught down to them. And then you find that there's gaps in their learning. And that's the part where I kind of like put myself in and trying to get them to understand that if you sit side by side with someone, it's so easy to help them. But if I have to take you and put you on the other side of this line, how do you get the same results? And you just watch them freak out, deer in headlights sometimes. But that's the only way that they're going to learn to build the team, the way that I learned how to build a team. I'm sure the way that you learned how to build a team. You got to trust.
Yeah.
But
and then like, shoot, I could tell these people so many of the pitfalls and the struggles I've had too. Cause here's the thing about being a chef is it's not glamorous.
Yeah.
There's moments of great joy. I sometimes feel bad so much of just some of the cool things I've got to do, but that's not my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
The day that even like someone outside looking in, oh, you're around all this wonderful food or this, that, and other. Well, you get to be you got to watch yourself for being a bit robotic sometimes. Like, the soup I bought you here, that soup has been on our menu since 2005. I would love if there was some way I could calculate to know how many gallons I've made. I'd be curious if it's crossed 1 million. There's certain things, it's just, I've done it so many times, it's boring. If hollandaise is on your menu and you're setting up your station, it doesn't hold. So you got to make a batch every time. You just got to do it consistently and robotically the same way every time. That's part of the thing you're doing, but you have to be able to push through that and just know that too. And one of the things that I really think about and really troubles, but like the things that I guess kind of weigh on me is I always try to talk to my kitchen staff about, the reason a lot of kitchen staff is in the kitchen is because they lack the people skills to be the waiter kind of out in the front of the people. And they're much more comfortable back there as the kind of bandits in the back. But it's real easy to forget you're cooking for people sometimes.
Yes.
And you don't see faces. You see a ticket with dishes written on it that you have to execute. And I get zip, 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 the ticket could come through and it could say a filet medium rare and a redfish. And what you don't realize is that's someone's 50th wedding anniversary. Yeah. And they chose, of all the multitude of restaurants they could have went to, they chose your place. And there's only one, you get one chance to cook for someone's 50th, and it could be a Thursday, it could be a Monday night, and you get one chance to cook for someone's 50th anniversary, wedding anniversary, and you don't know it. So you have to treat everybody like that. You got to, and it's shocking for me because once I did start get out there and actually push myself through some of my introvertness, is that a word?
Yeah.
And then actually started talking to people and just getting the reaction. Man, it was amazing. Like when people would compliment or this, that, and other, or even, I'm sure you had to do it too, where you've had to go talk to people that were upset, that didn't have a good experience. And then, oh man, when I knew the first time I had to go out to a table like that, I was literally probably shaking. I was so nervous. But then what I quickly found out is you go up to the person and you make no excuses.
None.
You apologize, and just those two simple things, 9 times out of 10, well, at least calm everything down. And people, no one's going to storm, no one's going to cuss at you or spit in your face or anything. But that's an experience where you learn things too. And you just say, man, can I get an opportunity to make this right? Let me make this right. Give me the opportunity to make this right. And when you do that and then you win those people over, oh my God, talk about a great feeling.
Guest for life.
Yeah. So, these are all the things going on that you're having to think about,
It's funny. I love hearing how you speak about like where you came from, because that's why I was in the back first, dishwashing, then the kitchen, super big introvert when I was younger. And it wasn't until I started having to, like, being the owner, you have to talk to people, so there is no hiding when that happens. And the compliments are so easy to take, right? Like they make your day. But the hard conversations, those are ones that build you into the person that you are now. The only thing I've thought about every single time there was a bad review or any time a guest was upset was, I want you to know I'm sorry. This isn't how we treat people, and I'm going to do everything that I can to make it right for you. I don't even know what that means, right? But it's not going to be automatically comping food so I can run back to the kitchen, right? It's going to be, what can I do, right? And then usually if you just listen to them, that's all they really need. but teaching that to other people, because you're shaking, like the first few times you have to do this, you're shaking. There's so much energy coming from them, and you don't know what to do with it.
Oh yeah.
Look,
JP, I would love to talk to like a psychologist or something, because I can't explain. I'm so passionate. I'm so passionate about being a chef. I just love my community. I love all my restaurateur friends and this, that, and the other. I'm so comfortable. I've done ungodly amount of public cooking demos and public speaking and this, that, and the other. But I still get nervous going up to a two-top to talk.
Oh yeah.
And then take me out of the restaurant. God, my wife can attest to this. I'm a mess. Like, I'm still introverted. I'm in these social circles with my kids. You start meeting. I can't be in normal public. Like that's, whereas I think where me and you were probably different, JP, is you're so comfortable going out and talking to the guests and this, that, and the other. Like the kitchen, that's like my home. That's
safe
home
zone,
base.
yeah.
Like even, for example, I'm part of the Epicurean Society. Well, we'd have our big awards dinner. All the guys that they go, they're at the tables, they got their tuxedos on, they look great, they're having a great time. Well, I choose to be in the kitchen every time overseeing that. I don't feel comfortable out there. And more importantly, even if like, let's say I was serving a dish, let's say I was just serving a soup, and all right, guys, y'all heat up the soup, y'all put that out when it's time. Not happening. I'm not sitting down at that chair. I just can't. And like, just outside of the kitchen, just like try to make small talk with like normal human beings. It's a mess, JP. We just kind of just met officially, and we're brothers in the restaurant industry. So I feel so comfortable talking to you, but like small talk, I can't do it, man.
Small talk is tough. It is so tough. One of my neighbors, I don't hang out like outside of my house very often, right? Like, I mean, I'm very nice to my neighbors. I love them. They're amazing people, but small talk always gets to me. Luckily my wife, she's really amazing at that.
So my wife is, yeah. Oh, I drive, look, my wife, Teresa, that's a saint woman. That's an angel woman there. And, she's got to put up with all the craziness of a chef. And, it's almost weird though, because we live in this environment now. Sometimes I don't know what I think about it, JP, where it's like, chefs are so like chefs and restaurants. It's so glorified now from the foundations of these media, like starting with the food channel they were talking about. But now you got shows like The Bear that's huge, and this, that, and the other. And I feel like I have survivor's guilt or something, because I almost think like, dude, I just cook for a living. I really shouldn't be like glorified or anything. I think of like doctors and stuff like, I'm like,
people doing like saving people's lives.
Like, how come they're not doing shows? Like there's all these cooking shows and these celebrity chefs, but how come there aren't like celebrity brain surgeons or celebrity, I don't know, but you get my point. Like people who really, like that really do stuff of like to me, I'm still shocked that like people would have talked to me, or like people are like, I mean, I've led such a, if you would have gone back and told like, before I got into this, so if you would have gone back and told like 14-year-old me, hey, you're going to do this job and you're going to travel the world. You're going to meet celebrities and movie stars. You get to travel the world. You're gonna get all these wonderful things. But I'd be like, let's go, come on, like, oh my God, what is it? You're gonna be a chef.
I'd be
cook. Like, what? Like
you
just
get to
cooking
cook for
and
people.
but I'd be high fiving myself. But I've had such wonderful. It's been such a blessing. Like I've got to live such a wonderful life through doing this, and like I said, I almost like feel a little guilty behind it, because I'm just doing what I like to do. I have so much fun just doing this. Like I would still do it for none of that. Like I would do it for none of those cool things. So I get to look at all this, and it's just icing on the cake. So I'm really grateful when it comes to that.
Dude, I love that. I'm still going back to why aren't there shows about like brain surgeons and stuff?
Yeah, top brain surgeon.
Yeah.
It's like a competition show.
Because I probably wouldn't watch it. Like I know if I needed one, I'd be glad that they're out there.
It's like a mystery box of what your doctor, it is a mystery box of what patient you're going to have, and then everybody's You're like, you get to work on this guy today. You're like, oh, you only get to use this scalpel. But I don't know. I like the reason why I think it's so easy to watch like people in this industry is we just care about other people. That's so, and no. And
it's real.
It's real. It's not. Plus, what I do love about my job is it literally engages all the senses. Again, I mean, no disrespect to anybody that has this. My brain can't comprehend how someone could be an accountant. My brain couldn't comprehend how someone, what I love about my job is the immediacy of what I do. Meaning, I get raw ingredients, I do something with them, orders come in, I prepare a dish, it goes out, they eat it, they go home, they liked it or not, they eat it, they go home, boom. It's like my day's over when the last desk gets up from the table and we shut the restaurant down, boom. It's very immediate. Like I think about someone who, like, let's say someone put me as the executive to oversee building a bridge that's going to take 4 years. Like, what do you consider a good day's work that's been like super productive? You know what I mean? My brain doesn't operate on that kind of level. I don't like that. It's why I like I talked about how much I hated cutting grass. I actually enjoy doing it now. I love the immediacy of it. Cut your grass, boom, your lawn looks better.
Yep.
You wash you got mud all over your car, you wash your car, boom. Oh man, you look at your car after wash, like, man, that looks good. That's how I see kind of my job is that, we might be prepping a day or two kind of in advance, but it's all very immediate. Like what you're doing is getting used and judged right then and there. So that's one thing. I don't think I could work in any other type of environment.
I wouldn't be successful doing that. I'm lucky because the partner that I have, he's completely opposite brain-wise of me.
It's the beautiful thing about it.
I'm very ADHD, right?
Yeah.
So if you give me a task, I'm going to crush it. But if you made me do this task for 2 years straight, I would probably hate my life. That's why I can't be an accountant. I can't do any of those quote unquote boring jobs because I just lack the consistency. So my part of what I do for the restaurants is I'm the people side of things. So people change every single day, right? Like from one day to the next, moods change. I'm really good at adapting to those and kind of getting the best out of people. And I'm also good at listening too, because it's different. It's new, it's novel, right? Like those are the things that really drive me. And in school, I used to think that ADHD was something bad, right? My brain was broken. Why couldn't I focus like other people? But now I think it's a superpower.
There you go. I like it.
Because the things that I can do with my brain now, a lot of people can't do this, But then again, there's a lot of things that my brain can't do, which is why I need other people. I tell this story a lot where over the last 15 years, my partner and I have tried so many different things. And we've tried to build teams of nothing but my type of personality. We've tried to build teams with nothing but his type of personality. And what I know now, undeniably, is none of those work. You need everyone. And you need the type of person that thinks like me. You need the type of person that thinks like him. You need people who are dreamers. You need inspirational people. You need the workhorses. You need every single type of personality. And then my job now is to, how can I make everyone work well together and see that? Because the biggest problem that most of my staff have is they complain because someone's different than them. They don't use the word they're different than me, but they'll say things like, this guy does this. And you're like, just because you don't do it this way doesn't mean they're a bad person for it. And then you have to start making them see the benefits of each other. And then when you can do that and you do that and there's respect, dude, your team just flourishes, And once again, I'm still trying to figure out how can I do this better and faster, and I haven't figured it out yet. Like I know what I want. I know what I'm willing to do, but I will get there. And I'm not the type to give up. So it will happen. But part of the realization now for me is I call it protecting the team. Right? Building a team is easy. Bringing people together, getting them, pumped up, getting them motivated to run through walls, super easy. Right? But how can I protect the team? And when I say that is, How can I remove the people that are hurting everybody else? That's the hardest part for me. And I haven't figured that out, right? Like I just can't. And I know it's values and I know it's work ethic and I know it's attitude, right? I know that. But in the moment, once again, I want to give people that chance, you know? And that's why, I keep asking that question of you because I want to know, I'm sure there's something that you do that I can take away. I already took away a lot from this conversation, by the way, so thank you for that. But having a team of people, you've had people that have been with you for 10 plus years, right?
Oh, 17.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, 17.
So for that long, like I'm sure you didn't always, it wasn't always vibey, right? Like it wasn't like you always agreed on everything.
Sure.
I'm sure you had a lot of disagreements.
There's been rough patches from time to time, yeah.
But how did you get over that? And I don't know. So what do you think you do that?
Man, I wish I could just lay it out for you simply. But in some of those situations, it's a combination of a couple things. What I've found is take me out of the equation. I think for us, Houmas House is such a unique environment that it's rare you fall in love with just a place.
Yeah.
So, but Houmas House is that place. So you could just fall in love with just the property. You could just fall in love being in that environment. Now you can create that environment.
Yeah.
So through some of those rough patches that maybe we've had, at the end of the day, you have such a love for the place that you're at that it just becomes a little patch you got to kind of work through. And then sometimes just time will just work it out. Or then sometimes, you realize sometimes there's been times where, some of my employees, during maybe some of my more hotter days, like I've had one of my main people, I ain't gonna say the name, one of my main people, but they'll know. One of my main people kind of pulled me to the side once and said, look, you talked to me a certain way the other day and no, that won't, you can't talk to me like that. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, you're right. And, because it's easy to get hot.
Yes.
It's easy. And oftentimes, man, I don't do it now, but the Gordon Ramsay flash out moment. And I always feel like such an idiot afterwards. But in the heat of the moment, it's real easy for things to get heated. And you got to be a person of your word. And in that case, I said, you're right. It will never happen again. Never happened again. So at the end of the day, it's basically, it almost becomes like, I think I just treat it like my family, like we're in this no matter what. Yeah. So let's figure this out, and I'm talking about, that's the key people. That's the ones that you cherish and will crawl over broken glass for, is make them know that, look, I'm not better than you. We're in this together and we're family. And this might not be working right now. This might be a bad time right now, but stick with it. And I promise you, we can make this right. We can make things better. And those are things that have happened too sometimes. Now, luckily that don't happen too often, that's been rare things, but I think at the end of the day, I do kind of treat it like family because they become your family.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
You spend so much time with them. I spend more time with them than I do my own family sometimes,
I'm sure that's probably right now in my case too, a lot of times.
Like we're talking about balance, and I have to think about counterbalance, like you have to go through periods of unbalance, and then you kind of shift the other way. I don't look at balance anymore as a daily activity. My wife understands that. She's been with me since the very beginning, since the, working, like doing the bar till like 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the restaurant at 8 o'clock in the morning, rinse, repeat, like she was with me through all of that. And now we do go through periods where I do have to work extra, right? I do have to solve problems. I do have to figure things out. And then we go through periods where I have a little bit more free time, and I try to make the most out of those. But now with kids, it's changed a little bit. So I do try to have non-negotiable times, like evening times and stuff. So if at least 2 to 3 hours with my kids.
Well, I don't know for you, JP, but does that that's actually a blessing in that it made you grow, because you have to, now you're, because all the job is, it's problem solving every day.
Yes.
So it just becomes another problem that you have to solve. And then you realize in solving that problem, you're empowering other people to do things to free you up. This, that, and the other. So for me, I know it's been nothing but a positive for me. Like at first, I almost was like, oh my God, how am I going to have it? There's the classic story of, and again, I say this much, no disrespect, but man, I can't tell you how many chefs I've seen. They kill it in their 20s, insanely talented. But what happens?
They burn out.
They get in their 30s, they either burn out, or 30s, they get in a committed relationship, they start having kids, and the next thing you know, career change.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And me, I just, that wasn't an option because, I mean, maybe I could be an Uber driver, but I have no other skills. Like I've been doing this my whole life. I know nothing else than being a chef. And I don't know what else I could do. So that wasn't an option for me. So I just had to figure it out.
Yeah. You got to make it work. You got to prioritize what's the most important thing for you. And then if it's important enough, you'll figure it out. Family, super important to me. Like without them, I would probably have no reason to do what I do now. Sure. Right. Like there's everything I do it because I want to make them proud of me, but I also want to take care of them, but then again, I could probably do another job and take care of them just as easily. Right. But I do these podcasts and like I go like we'll do bedtime together and I'll let it play and then my kid's like, Dad, I don't want to watch your podcast.
No. I can't get my kids to get I had such that's like my kids are going to like all the stuff I grow. They don't.
No,
like
they don't. Yeah, they couldn't care less, man.
They like Taylor's.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, come on.
But I tell them when I die, you're gonna appreciate these. But they don't care. They're like, no, we won't. I'm like, dude, you're like 6 years old. Like I can only imagine when they get to your kid's age. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Like that's a big step. Well,
I'll tell you, my kids, my wife, they've all been supportive, super proud. Every now and then, they have this dance thing during Thanksgiving at Disney. They want me to come. I'm like, dude. I'm like, you literally understand. The last Thanksgiving I had off was 1994. Like, it's not happening. It's a big day for us. And plus, I wouldn't want to, even if I guess I could pull some strings, in theory, I guess I could be off, but I don't want to do that. This is, you make commitments.
Yes.
You make certain commitments in life. You know what I mean? And look, no job's glamorous. We're talking about surgeons. I'm sure no doctor wants to work at the ER at 2:00 in the morning. But there's certain things that you're just responsible for. And so I got to explain to them. Boo, I'm sorry, it's just not happening. So, but then I try to, my philosophy with having the kids is I try to make and be as flexible as possible. I try to make all the things so they know when I say, I'm sorry, I can't make this one. Like they know. They know. That he can't. There's something serious going on that night. It's probably a busy weekend, probably a big event. Probably he's got this going on. It's so that they know, because I try to make myself, if I'm able to be there, I'll be there.
I think they understand that about me now. I will make time for them before anything else. But if I can't, they understand that now. Like if I don't get home till like 10 o'clock at night, they'll understand. They don't like it, They're like, where's Dad? Like Dad's working, like he's got to take care of some things. But I make all like the picnics at school with them, like donuts with Daddy, all those events, because those are really important to me, and I think they'll get it. But once they get a little bit older and I guess they start to get busier and they start to they're already doing so many things, soccer, gymnastics, dude, I don't know what they're going to do or I'm going to do when they become teenagers.
Oh man.
I really don't know.
You just wait till they think they don't need you no more.
Yeah. Oh, I'm waiting for it. I know there's going to be a period of time where my daughters hate me. I'm just waiting for it, because if you talk to anyone that has daughters, they're like, it's not like if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. But they do say, luckily, they grow out of it. I'm trying to make that not happen. I'm trying to be as open with my kids as possible. We talk everything out. I'm very open. Obviously, you can kind of probably tell we just met. And
I'm the same way too with my girls.
Yeah. I want to be as open as possible with them. I don't hold anything back. I tell them exactly what I'm thinking, and hopefully they'll do the same with me. So there's no barriers. Then again, I do this with my staff too, right? I'm extremely open with people.
That's one thing I try to tell my staff. I don't think my staff takes advantage of just how open or whatever they are, or how they, dude, I'm like, sometimes, and it's interesting, it took a while for me, JP, because I'm 46 now, but I'm still doing the same things I was basically doing when I was in my 20s. And whenever I'm talking to these 22-year-olds, I feel I'm their same age. But like there's such a generation gap. Like I feel like I could talk to them straight up, but then they look at me as like this separate, from the separate generation. And plus have this title, so like I have like this certain amount of authority or this, that, and other. But I'm so approachable. And you can come and talk to me about any issue that thinks might be going on in the restaurant that we're able to approach and solve and this, that, and other. In fact, I would encourage it. And sometimes I'm like, man, y'all don't take me up on it enough. I would love, because obviously sometimes when you're the manager or the thing, that sometimes they're trying to, certain things they might try to have from you or this, that, and other, and just understand, I'm not going to freak out. Let's talk about these things. Let's figure it out.
I've probably done it better than you, actually. So there's probably nothing that we can't talk our way through.
Yeah. So those are things I think about too.
It's because I'm very transparent. And I feel like sometimes that's a negative, because if you're so open with people, they don't take you seriously, So because I'm very open. It's like, if this happens and this continues to happen, I'm going to have to do this, right? And I'm extremely like, man of my word, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you there, right? And then by the time you kind of let me down every step of the way, and then I have to do what I said I was going to do, I can't tell you how many times someone has said, I didn't think you were serious. I was like, what do you mean you didn't think I was serious? Like, just because I didn't yell at you? I don't raise my voice at people. I do think of this is, if I ever lose my cool, then it's my fault because I didn't get rid of you sooner, right? Because that just means by the time I yell at somebody, there's a lot of resentment built up, right? There's a lot of like negative feelings. And it was my job to either crush those feelings, get over them, so we could both work well together. And if we can't, my fault for leaving you here, right? I don't know why I think that all the time, but that's how I think about it in terms of like when I need to part ways with people. So there's a concept that we use. It's called radical candor. I didn't make this up. It was a book by Kim Scott. So it's all about balancing care and challenge. So I always show a lot of care, but you have to show a lot of challenge as well, because that's what people need from you, right? They need to be better people, and I need to be challenged as well. So I ask for that challenge. So if you're very high care, high challenge, and they stop, I guess, producing, or whatever word you want to use, right? Or they stop taking that challenge, so you challenge less. Now you still have high care and low challenge. And then because you feel bad for them, like maybe they're going through some stuff, maybe I don't push as hard, right? But you still really care about them. But the more they let you down, and you're not challenging them, right? And you still care for them, eventually the low challenge part also gets coupled with low care. That's where all those negative, toxic feelings start to build up, because you don't care about these people anymore, and you're not challenging these people anymore. So the other quadrant that I won't let myself get into is low care, high challenge. You're just being a dick, right? You're being an asshole, right? So before I get into that quadrant, either I try to increase the challenge, because my care usually is very high, right? So it's the challenge part that I lack sometimes is, maybe you don't get it. Maybe you need more time, because once again, they have to make their own mistakes, right? So if they're making mistakes and I keep pushing really hard, I might push them too far, right? So that's when you back off on that challenge. But dude, that's where I'm trying to figure out that balance part. Oh, yeah. Once again, hadn't figured it out yet, man. Hadn't got it.
Shoot, just you saying all that, you probably on the right track. Look, there's never going to be perfection. You can only try, man. Do for it. And it's cliche as it sounds. It's kind of progress over perfection. You always want to make sure you're just erring on the side of progress.
We Jeff and I have a phrase that we use a lot. Done is better than perfect, because perfect is never done. And like, I always think about trying to be as perfect as possible, rolling out the best game plan, having everything thought out. You'll never get there, man. You can get very close to it, but if you let that prevent you from moving forward, then you're just using that as an excuse. Like, everything's got to be perfect. No, man, it just has to work, and then you'll figure it out. You'll tweak it as you go, which is why I like having these conversations with people, because I feel like we're all trying to figure out the same thing. We're trying to figure out people. You know, like we know what we want to do. We want to make people happy. But in order to make other people happy, you need the right people with you who want to do the same thing. And that's the part where when you were talking about like a psychologist like recently or, you know, just now. And I feel like these podcasts are like therapy sessions for me.
100%.
You know?
And you know what's interesting, JP, is we've been sitting here, we've been talking for a while now. We first started talking about food, like very specifically. I rolled out pasta and I did with the crab remoulade. But we've probably spent most of it just going over all the behind the scenes starts, a lot of the psychological stuff about this. And that's the trick if you think about it, man, because like, I don't want to say the cooking's easy, but that's probably the easiest part. It's the easiest part of what we do. It's the easiest part of my job. Now that comes after I put my Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours in, and so the cooking's easy. Now I got to make sure, and this is something I'm learning as I'm starting to, you know, if I spent so much of my career as like the young chef because I had a lot of success very early. And with John Folse being the executive chef at 22 and then opening up Houmas House when I was 25. And when we opened up Houmas House in 2005, kids, there was this thing called magazines. And,
print?
And Esquire magazine, John Mariani, the food writer at Esquire magazine at that time, did the yearly best new restaurants in the country. And we got in 2005.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, what a huge honor.
And, thank you. And, I still got the paper edition, but how
many copies did you buy?
A bunch. I only got one now, but, one of those printed plaques. And that was awesome. And, you know, I was just so driven. And then you got to make sure that you can't lighten up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've just kind of, as a chef, really gotten just finding the simple joys, trying to get back to what really sparked that passion in those early days. It's like whenever you fall in love, I'm sure when you and your wife first met, and when me and my wife first met, you know,
hot and heavy, huh?
Oh man, them first couple months.
Yeah.
She knows what was up. And then,
how do you relight that spark? You know,
but then just like as cliche as it sounds, talking about relationships, finding that and making sure whatever, I come back to that as far as being a chef, where I put myself in different situations where I am, it does go back to the cooking, and I don't forget my roots and where I came from, and trying to find, well, what is that next thing? What is the hot things going on right now? You know, you got to make sure you don't lose that too, because it's real easy when you've been doing it for 30 years to just be like,
kind of phone it in.
Well, dude, I have such a repertoire in my head of menus that I've executed and go-tos and this, that, and the other that I could very easily, I could go another 10 years and not come up with a new idea. Like
you would just kind of hate what you do
but
now.
I don't want to. 100%, JP. That's not where I want to be. I want to continue to push myself because what's the point other than that? You know, there'd be no.
Fun. Then it has to be fun.
Then it becomes a job.
Yes.
Then it becomes a job, and that's one thing I'm so blessed that even though, man, I've had patches where I've been close to burnout a couple times where I thought I was done with this career, and I did want to step away and whatever, and I was really feeling the pressure and whatever, but that just wasn't going to happen. At the end of the day, once you settle down,
once you think about it and reflect,
that just wasn't going to happen. So it was going back to what was it that just sparked that fire whenever you were 16. Look, when I was 16, dude, I thought it was food, it was fire, it was sharp knives. I'm like, this is awesome. Like all the chefs had at the time. Most chefs now have knife rolls.
Yeah.
But at that time, all the chefs had these big toolboxes and they would put their own little like combination lock on it. And they took so much pride in all the different knives in their collection. They had to walk in with their toolboxes every day and set them down. And I was like, man, I want a toolbox full of sharp knives. That sounds awesome. Like that was like my goal. And like, to me, that was like the top of the mountain. Like, oh my God, bro, you mean to tell me there's a job where you get to have a bunch of cool sharp knives and play with fire and then eat awesome food. Like at the end of the day, that was just like that. That's what sparked, that's what sparked everything was those three things, as silly as it may sound. And then, but what's so rewarding is to be on this this kind of just long kind of adventure and to go through the ups and downs, but also it's so rewarding, just the little personal accomplishments you kind of make. And when I say that, I'm not talking about an award. I'm not talking about an article or maybe a nice post that someone does about you. I'm talking about like when you start to figure things out, when things start to click. Man, I mean, sometimes when you hit that flow state, sometimes in a busy restaurant where there's chaos going on around you, but it's like, but everything is still happening. Like it's so chaotic, but everything is happening so perfectly. You're not bumping into each other. All the food's coming out perfect. Everything is just clicking. Boy, that's rare, but it's like a symphony,
like choreographed dance.
I just love it. And
spinning around each other,
so
you know, like
for, sure.
No one's getting hurt for some reason. You're like, so, but wow, I really enjoyed our conversation today.
Oh, well, man. Likewise, JP.
Like, this was so much amazing. I feel like we've been talking for way too long. I even looked at my watch once.
I couldn't even tell you how long we've been talking.
2 hours.
Oh, look at that. Yeah,
wow.
I couldn't have guessed it.
Yeah. So I feel like I feel like I have to get home soon. My wife's probably expecting me home, but once again, she knows I can talk forever. So I could probably
she knows what you're doing.
Yeah, I could be home at 6:30, be home at 10:30. You know what I mean? But wow, I had such a great time talking to you today.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me, man.
Like I want to spend more time with you.
Well, shoot, man, that's easy.
I'm definitely going to go to Houmas House though. And now that I know you can stay overnight, I think that's what I'm going to do. Can you stay 2 nights in a row? Because I feel like I'm not going to take in as much as I need to in just one night and one day.
We got you. Whatever you want, man.
All right. So perfect. Well, it's a date.
Done.
Awesome. Well, thank you, man.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Dude, fuck, this was awesome.
I'll be honest, this is the best podcast.
Oh, shoot, for real?
The best guest that we've had.
Oh, shoot.
Like, wow.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, man, thank you.
Just the facial expressions, talking to the camera,
The energy, like, holy shit. Like when,
I'm trying to pump you up or anything, but you were good.
Oh, man.
dude, our editor is going to love
thank you,
this
man.
podcast.
Thanks, Jeff.